Hello and welcome back to another wonderful Thursday night here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we are playing Gilded Destinies, episode 31. Can you believe it's been 31 weeks of this, gang? Yeah, you can?
Yeah.
Have I packed enough trauma into those 31 weeks for you?
You know how I feel already. What's my famous line?
All right. But we're going to go ahead and get right back into things as we move back in to not the city of Revan, but the paths leading through the woods up to it, with Zenlin, Reznor, and of course, Yurtash. You're trudging through the woods. You'd guess you're probably about halfway back at this point. Probably about another 30, 45-minute walk, like good pace walk. Reznor, are you taking the lead, or are you letting Yurtash or Zen take it?
I'm probably taking the lead.
Yeah. You see Yurtash is matching Reznor's pace with ease. And Zen, I don't know how you're doing. How do you think you're doing? Do you want to make a roll about it, or you just want to decide?
We can roll, sure. I mean,
Yeah,
Zen's got a hardier constitution than he did before.
Yeah, let's just do a constitution check.
Check, not save?
We can do a save, sure.
Okay. 9. Zen is not doing great. He's walked a lot today. We're going on mile like 6 to 8, somewhere in there by this point.
Yeah, we're hitting you're hitting the hard point of the walk now. It's like, all right, hey, it's that last 0.2 miles that kills you. And Yurtash actually, I think, glances back and sees you struggling. Do you want to ride?
Oh.
I mean, what do you mean?
I could carry you. You're what,
going to
150 pounds when you're soaking wet? Maybe 200 with your gear?
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's up there now, actually, with this armor. I mean, that's up to you. I can assure you, if you carry me into town, very important people in Revan are going to take note.
I'll set you down. Really How about I set you down once we hit the edge of the woods?
Oh, I see. So you're ashamed to be seen with me. Got it.
No,
Uh-oh.
I'm joking, bud. It's okay.
I just need to avoid notice. I would love to be seen with you. I'll be seen with you in the tavern later.
Why do you need to avoid notice, sir?
Because I'm one of 4 leaders of an unlicensed military encampment.
I want you to be aware. And I suppose I thought I made this clear before we left. We are going to meet the deputy mayor of Riven.
Okay.
Do you really think you're going to ever avoid notice?
I mean, I'd prefer that the common townsperson didn't know that there was an encampment of refugees considered monstrous a half day's hike north.
You know, if you guys get in good with the mayor, you don't have to hide and you wouldn't be refugees, right?
What is a mayor to a mob?
What is a mob to an army?
What is an army to a Reznor?
What's a Reznor to a non-believer?
Oh, I'll make him a believer.
Reznor grows just flexes.
Hurry's in on the baby oil. The baby oil is in. Not listening enough.
Let's have our talks with this deputy mayor first before we go spreading anything, at least, you know?
Sure.
and he does not try to pick you up.
I was gonna say Zenlin starts walking.
Yeah, he does not try to. He turns away from you. He's like, I think Reznor, you catch this from the outside. There is a pointed, like, he is attempting not to lock eyes with Zenlin right now.
Oh. Try to Zenlin setting to walk.
What's the matter? Are you guys coming or are you too tired?
He's coming. He's walking. And I think actually you see him pick the pace up a little bit. He's like jogging for him now. So he's moving about 80 around.
I just imagine it, Zenlin takes the lead and starts going the wrong way.
Zenlin starts walking back toward the fort. What's the matter? Are you guys coming or are you too tired?
It's gonna be Reznor in the city again, where I'm just gonna have to block pass off by standing in them so you go the right way.
All right.
Yeah.
And you do make it back. You do make it back to town. No trouble on the way. And as you walk up, you see people going about their business here in Revan. It looks like a lot of the repairs are taken care of. And now that people aren't now that there is someone here to help fix the food source issue, you had noticed when you came back into town earlier that there were a lot more people fishing than normal in the stream. But that seems to have dropped off.
Reznor, did they say where they were going?
I think they told you that they wanted to take care of the mayoral duties at the office and then head over to grandfather's.
Okay.
Yeah, we did before we went our separate ways. We had discussed that.
Yeah, I would assume they're on their grandfather's already, or there.
Well, welcome to Revan, sir. Now we have to walk through the city and out to the outskirts.
More walking.
Yes. More walking. And he begins to just walk through the city. I'm going to make a little check for him here. It's pretty good. You see him walking within the first 3 steps across into town. He adopts the posture and almost he basically adopts the body language of a native.
All right, heading out, heading to Grandpa's.
All right, and we head down the road through the center of town to Grandpa's. Are any of you doing anything, or either of you doing anything as you walk through town? Or what's your vibe as you walk through town, rather?
I think Zenlin is trying to put on an air, A, like he's not exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But B, like nothing's amiss, but he's pointedly watching every move that Urtash makes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you for a deception. And let's see how the deception goes first. If it's high enough, I won't make you also roll an insight. If it's low, I'll give you an insight check.
We're not on a good roll tonight. It's a 7, so I'm clearly exhausted.
Yeah, go ahead and give me that insight check as well.
Insight's a 19.
On a 19, what happened? Well, actually, I'm going to tell you what happens on a 7 on the deception first. You've hiked. You've done a full day's worth of hiking today, and had some pretty emotionally exhausting encounter. And I think what you see is that one of the little children who's running around in in like the center of town there where all the roads meet, comes up to you. Wyvern Slayer! Wyvern Slayer! Did you go into the mountains to fight more wyverns?
I went to find some more. I didn't find them yet. They're still hiding.
I'm so sorry, Reznor. The child is tugging on Zenlin's robes.
Ow!
What?
Wow.
Oh,
You killed the most wyverns out of anybody in the party.
I mean, no one saw that though. I was on the top of the tower alone.
Well,
Yeah, and then they saw that you were on the top of the tower alone, and there were 8 dead wyverns around you.
gasp.
Oh, I mean, we were looking, but we didn't find any yet.
Oh, okay. Well, what should I do to learn to fight wyverns like you?
I would advise join the guard.
Join the guard.
Join the guard.
I mean,
All
not
right.
you obviously don't join the guard now, but like, right? Like, there's got to be guards or something around. Like, someone just ask them to teach you.
Yeah. I'll maybe I'll go to the Zalakan the Zim.
Yes, I think that's a wonderful idea.
All right. And this little kid jogs off. And what you get on that 19 insight is you see Yurtash watching you interact with this child. And you see there's a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. And I'll even, 19's pretty good. It didn't beat his deception for the general townspeople, but that was not directed towards you specifically. So what I'm going to say is you catch that he's watching the interaction with the child more than he's watching you. Like, you are just, in this moment, you're a placeholder to him.
Good.
The scene would
Yeah.
have the same emotional impact if it was Reznor or Coca-Cola or Jillian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Wyvern Slayer.
yeah, as this kid walks away, Yurtash turns and continues walking through town. And we're going to cut over to Grandpappy's farmhouse, where we see Cola and Jillian walking up about an hour and a half ago. You are walking up, and you can see immediately that Grandfather's house on the outside is cleaner than it has ever been in your living memory, Cola.
Are all the like shutters and doors open and rugs hanging out and so on and so forth?
Rugs aren't hanging out. The shutters and doors are all open, though. It looks like the house is being put back together after being cleaned and aired out. It looks like they've finished the cleaning and they're just putting everything back now.
Okay.
And you actually see a number of the dwarven clansmen that you spoke to yesterday, the people who are sworn to your grandfather's service, but not actually family, scurrying around doing this work for him.
Yeah, so I'll call out
watch-
so nobody thinks I'm an intruder or something.
Yeah. You call out and you see your grandfather steps from behind the door. Coca-Cola! And you see he is fully clad. Like, he's got full suit of scale mail armor, got the hammer at the side, got a spear strapped to his back, helmet on, big old smile that barely peeks out from behind the bushy white beard.
Well, it's good to see you knock the rust off that armor, grandfather.
Oh, magic don't rust.
She'll kind of chuckle and give him a big hug best she can around all that beefy bullshit he's got going on there.
Yeah, he gives you a hug too. You know, you can feel the armor press up against you, but you can feel grandfather's arms wrap around you more. And you can actually tell the armor's a little loose in the arms. Like, grandpa's lost some weight since last time he had to wear this. Or lost some muscle mass, maybe.
Yeah, that's what happens when you eat ration bars for 5 or 6 years instead of regular food. You're sustained calorically, but you're still losing muscle and so on and so forth. Hey, we brought you some gifts. We're back from Sharn.
Oh, I love gifts. Why don't we go to my room and we can unwrap them there?
Yeah, I was going to say there's some private family gifts. I also would like to speak with you about a private family matter as well.
Yes, of course. Jillian, on the table in there, there's a whole spread. Help yourself. And I'm sure the men could use organizing for their next task. Now that we're already done here, I can put rugs and chairs back myself, thank you.
Yeah, let them feel useful, grandfather. It's been a long time since they've been called.
Useful. They can feel useful by being useful to the town. And that's what our deputy mayor here is for.
Yeah, well,
back, Jillian.
I'm just going to grin at Jill and head off to the bedroom with him.
Jill, you are left here with about 8 dwarven clanspeople sworn to the Iron Gut family service. You've met some of them working down at the docks a lot. Like, I'd say probably 5 of them are dock workers. And then 3 of them you've seen like working around the brewery. And they all turn to you. All right, boss says you're giving orders.
All right. Jill doesn't feel comfortable giving orders, but she will work alongside of them. She will say, well, let's go in here and finish this up, and call everyone to come with her and help her. And just hurry up and get the stuff done so that Grandpa can feel, relax in his own home. So
yeah, you see the guy who kind of seems like he's taken the foreman role among them. Probably about early 200s. Little older than Grandpa, honestly. Smiles, says, "Hey, you heard the mayor, boys. We're supposed to keep helping out here." And as we all know, the mayor outranks a business owner, doesn't they?
Oh, hell.
And they get back to work. It's like if a scene out of a Disney movie starred a bunch of incredibly beefy, greasy, dirty dwarves. They are humming and singing as they clean, smack out the shutters and smack out the rugs, clean the shutters, and put everything back in its place.
I was already thinking the same things then.
And Snow White if the dwarves weren't cherub cheeked, and were instead ready to go to war at any second. So, what, the 2013 live action remake?
Something like that. What was it?
Going
Snow
to
White.
war any second.
If they only knew.
But yeah. And then, Coca-Cola, you go off into the other room with your grandfather. Jill, just give me a little... We can either make it a luck check or a wisdom check or a charisma check, whatever you feel is appropriate for organizing these guys to clean grandfather's place as best as possible.
Yeah, I think wisdom.
Okay. Let's call it a perception then. You are just... You're not micromanaging, but you are going around checking all their work, and you're like, you missed a spot, or that's a trouble area, put 2 guys on that. So yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay, perception. I should do that instead. So she got a 15 on perception.
15? Yeah, you're doing a good job cleaning. And then we move over to grandfather's room with Coca-Cola as the door closes and is locked behind you. All right. So how about these new spirits?
Yeah, so that's what I'll unpack his spirits and pipe tobacco, and I think I got some like candies or some other junk for him too, some random shit. I wrote it down somewhere, but I'll give him all of that to kind of lighten the mood before I shit all over his existence in a moment.
Yeah, I'm going to say you hand him the pipe tobacco first, and you never seen your grandfather move this quickly. Like, you've seen him move faster in like a straight charge, but he, in a split second, has grabbed his pipe off his dresser, lit the fire in his fireplace, and is sitting in the chair by his bed, smoking the pipe. He's like,
Yeah, and since I got my pack, since I got my bag since we were traveling still and had all of our shit, I'll get in my mess kit and get out, the little cup or whatever, and pour off some spirits and hand that to him too. And I'll make it like a 4-finger pour instead of like the standard gentleman's 2.
He looks at you. All right. Well, one moment. Cecile, can you bring a chair in here? And one of the younger dwarves brings another chair in for you to sit on. Have a seat. Pulls out his spare pipe, packs it up for you. Seat, pipe, smoke, and drink.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then I'll shut the door. And
the door shuts. You sit back down. And he just sort of smiles a little sadly at you.
Why the long face?
Oh. After about 215 years, you figure out when someone's getting ready to deliver bad news.
Yeah, and at that moment, I'll use my daily use of arcane lock to keep the door shut.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start talking to him in hushed tones. Well, there's several things we need to discuss. Which would you like to discuss first? The good, the bad, or the ugly?
Well, good, bad, ugly. You went to Sharn. Is the bad or the ugly your mother?
All of them are my mother, but in a different context.
All right, let's just give them to me in order. Good, bad, ugly.
Good is I saw Dad and my siblings, and they're most of them are great. They say hello, so on and so forth, pleasantries and such. Bad, and I need you to swear on whatever you swear is most holy in your life, that you're not going to fly off the handle, and that you'll go along with my plan, because I'm working out a plan to fix it for the next couple things I'm going to tell you.
I will swear to hear out your plan and not take any unmeasured actions.
Well, it's going to warrant a lot of reaction, emotional reaction, because it has to do with Dad. But you
say that the bad has to do with your father, and he finishes the first glass of spirits. Woo! Refills it. Only fills it with a 2-finger pour this time. I'll tell you what, those elven distilleries do amazing work.
Yeah, you'd really like the girl I got it from.
Yes, I'm sure I would. So the bad.
Well, you and I both know that my mother is unsavory at the lightest point. And I just figured out that she's casting Gaius on Dad to keep him at the house. Because she tried to do the same thing to me. And
I think you feel what was a pause of consideration. As you say, she tried to do the same to me. I'm going to actually ask for a religion check.
Ooh, religion.
I'll say with advantage.
Am losing my religion the more and more I go on with this. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. There is a moment where you understand the origins of the dwarven phrase stone silent, because after you say she tried to cast it on you, you continue to speak and the words will not manifest. The sound does not travel, and you can feel the stones that make up the floor of your grandfather's room. It's not that they're sucking the sound out of the air. It is that there is such an omnipresent, unhearable sound coming from them that nothing else can move past it. Kind of like if you filled an entire room with dog whistles and blew them, you wouldn't be able to hear anything in the low pitches. And from what your grandfather told you, he does not have a conscious connection to the stone.
He doesn't, but I do.
You do. And so does this land.
Yeah.
But a long moment passes. And you see your grandfather exhale. The statue-like visage of him breaks. And he just begins to cry. How could I?
I'll give him a hug and, do the condolence thing. Like, you couldn't have known, even I didn't know, and I grew up there.
I knew there was something wrong with that woman. And instead of being a place for your father to come back to, if he needed to, I cast him out. Yes, it was at your grandmother's urging, but I cast him out, and he had no place to run. And I cannot help but feel that this is my fault, at least in peace.
He can't run. He tried. He tried to follow us, and it injured him badly in front of all of my siblings.
Yes. And I worry that he tried to run before, and that is why the Gaius began to be cast. For all of your mother's many flaws, she is a pragmatic woman. And I do not think she would do such a thing if she did not feel a need for it.
Well,
so I worry that my son tried to flee once, and with nowhere to go, he was caught and trapped. And if what you say is true, that your mother has meddled with his mind, There is no way that I will ever know that is not true. I will never know the truth of my failures as a father.
Listen, one thing that I've learned from you and my father and other elders in my life is it's not where you came from, it's where you're going. We can't fix the past, but we can damn sure try to straighten things out for the future.
Yes. Yes, we can. And you see he actually stands up and walks over to a location in this room you're newly familiar with.
The blood rubies.
Coca-Cola.
Yes.
To play this great game in such a way that we come out looking like the aggrieved that we are, and your father comes out safely. That patch might go back to bronze. Is that a loss you can accept?
Yeah, if it's for my dad.
All right. And you see your grandfather gathers up these rubies. Your friend, Zenlin, teleportation is a mage capable of teleportation, yes?
Yes.
When you see him, tell him I'll need his services for 1 hour.
I can do that. The blood rubies are actually something I wanted to speak with you about anyways, in lieu of my plans.
Let me tell you my thoughts. The assassin. Oh, please, no, tell me your thoughts. You have news about the assassin.
I do. All 3 of them.
All right.
And this is why I asked you to swear almost a blood oath to have this conversation, because the information I'm about to tell you would put a bigger target on my back than my mother's. Obviously, I'm Kundarak.
Then perhaps it is best couched in a hypothetical.
If I was perhaps born a Kundarak and not an Iron Gut, and I was perhaps trained in a super secret sect of the Kundaraks that could be potentially, but probably not called the Guradin, who happen to maybe possibly be assassins that were sent to take care of certain threats in places, and she'll kind of look around to potentially assure a Kundarak heir steps into a place of power in a hypothetical situation. I could possibly know where those assassins came from, if that was the situation.
So the Kundaraks fund the Goradin. Interesting. You probably have figured out by now the Goradin are the 4th worst kept secret of the great houses.
Oh yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Everyone knows they exist. No one really knows who backs them.
Or who they are, or when they're going to strike, and so on and so forth.
Yes. They're in the shadows. Exactly. If you're telling me, do you have proof? Forget the hypotheticals. Do you have proof that the Goradin are funded, or Kundarak funded?
Yes, I am a member of the Guradin as it stands now.
Do you have proof other than your word?
The bodies that we collected all had Guradin tattoos. This cloak that I'm wearing belonged to the one that tried to assassinate you, and it is the same cloak that I returned to my mother, except for this is much older and faded. And I happen to be in possession of a Guradin dagger. That isn't mine.
All right. Well, yes, yes. And I think you start to see gears spin in your grandfather's head that haven't had to work for a while, as he kind of, as the being the politics of being a clan head, kind of kick into gear. The Hordeen have blighted many of the families of the Marar holds. House Kundarak does not have a seat at the council. The great houses forswear all, local, well, not local, but national influence in return
Right.
for their,
Well,
We have to go see the town mage.
while we're on this subject, let me steamroll us into the ugly.
Oh, that's right. There's ugly. Oh God.
When we were in Sharn, do you remember our friend Jolly?
Yes.
Yes, so Jolly was put up for execution on Wild Night, and the great houses, Kundarak being one of them, were a part of wanting to make a big show of it. Jolly is a wordsmith. He is the silverest of tongues, and he was able to rally the crowd during his execution and make an escape. Well, this caused a riot. Some House Cannith robots kind of went a little rogue and destroyed a whole section of the city, chasing some unknown assailants that could possibly hypothetically have been in line with Jolly. And it caused riots throughout all of Sharn. And the Undercity, where Jillian's clinic is or was, pushed the great houses out of the Undercity as part of the riot. And that being said, they have brought in several, I guess we could call them mercenaries, militia, whatever you want to call blade marks, several platoons of blade marks, and they're planning on.
I will note, you saw one full platoon of blade marks. The rest were other, like, house militia.
Well, there you go. That. They're planning to purge the Undercity, and we got out just in the nick of time, rescuing a young hobgoblin man who happens to be part of a resistance cell located not far from here. And they're in preparations, making plans to help evacuate the Undercity now, which is what Zen and Reznor went to go handle, because there's millions of people in the Undercity, and very many of them are innocents, women, children, elderly, the impoverished, and so on. So there's a lot going on, which is why I don't want to jump the gun on my dad right away, because, there's a lot of cogs to work in this wheel, which brings me to wanting to speak to you about the blood rubies that you're in possession of, and maybe returning them as a sign of, what's the word? Good faith to kind of rally these dwarven houses behind us when we go to make the move to not only help liberate the Undercity, but at the same time, thanks to Zenlin and his good idea, liberate my father.
All right. Well, that dovetails quite nicely with my plan, which was a bit more political. I think the best time to act to save your father is as the Undercity, is evacuated.
Yeah, that was kind of the
and I think the best way to do that I'll need to talk to my people before we leave. And Jillian. Oh God, Brightfoot's out of town. It's for the best.
It's good that Brightfoot's out
No,
of town.
It's for the best. It's for the best.
Yeah.
How do you feel about joining the Raw Holds?
I mean, I've denounced the Kundarak name in all the places that it needed to be, aside from being able to quote unquote throw weight with it until I can't anymore. So I'm fine with it.
All right. Better question. How would you feel about Revan declaring independence from Zalago in order to join the Raw Holds? That I may call upon the council to strike against Kundarak.
I think it's a great idea, and I think I also might be able to make a plea to offer Revan some extra assistance as soon as I can speak with Zen and Rez when they get back from their mission as well.
All right. Yes, you said there's a resistance. I set that up quickly. You said the city was just stormed yesterday and they've already got amazing.
From my understanding, it's something that's been taking place for quite some time. They've been working for quite some time. It's mostly comprised of folks that the great houses consider undesirables. My friend Reznor, you know, obviously he's a shifter. People along those lines, hobgoblins, orcs, things of the such.
All right. Well, let's go speak to Jillian. And he walks over to the door, tries to open it, realizes he can't. A little help. You've done something to the door.
I have to keep folks out in case, you know, because we're having an obviously very sensitive conversation. Just please don't say anything in front of anybody else aside from Jillian, Zen, and Rez until we...
Your private information shall remain private until such time as we need to declare it before the courts.
Thanks. That's all I can ask. And
All right. Dispel the lock.
I'm
assuming you would have put a password on it.
I'll jazz hands it and make it go away.
Okay. All right. Lock goes away. Grandpa opens the door. Deputy Mayor Jillian Rilka.
Jill would pop her head up from working and walk over to Grandpa.
Jill, are you currently armed? Not like holding your weapon, but is it on you? Yeah, you came straight here from the tower. Grandfather locks eyes with you. Jillian, I am going to beg your forgiveness in advance.
It is better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. I think Jillian has heard Coca-Cola say that exact line no fewer than 57 times in the last year alone.
More than once a week.
Yeah. And Jill would cock her head to the side and say, okay.
All right, cool. Jill, give me an opposed athletics with disadvantage.
Opposed athletics.
As grandfather yells, I renounce my citizenship of the city-state of Zalago, and decks you, knocking you to the ground.
You just got an angry dwarven punch to the face.
Yeah, no, it's not even angry. He's just yelling this so that everyone in earshot can hear it. and then just decks Jillian, trying like to knock her to the ground. Jill, it's your turn.
Jill, do you want her to hit him back? I mean, she's going to get up, sort of shake her head, and say, "Have you lost your mind?"
All right. By my right, and he's getting ready to swing at you again. You see, he's armed, obviously, but he's not pulling any weapons. He's just punching you.
All right, she'll raise her shield.
All right. He's gonna roll
Block.
to hit this time. He's gonna roll to hit this time instead of just making an athletics check. Does a 18 hit Jillian?
And 18 is, I believe that. Yeah, that's her armor class. So that means it beats
All right.
it.
All right. Yeah, he decks you again and says, "By my right, as clan head of Iron Gut, I name this city Conquered." As he knocks you to the ground again. Do you surrender?
I'm just going to telepathically communicate with Jillian, go along with the plan.
All right. She'll say, I yield.
All right. You say, "I yield." Your amulet flashes for a second. You lose the charm or the advantage on persuasion on any creature within Revan. He offers you a hand to help pick you back up. Says, "I'll need the key to the mayor's office, please."
She'll hand over the key.
All right. As new clan lord of the city of Revan, I name Jillian Rilka my deputy mayor. And you regain the benefits of that feature.
Hell yeah, Grandpa.
He looks at you. There's a lot of really funny things about conquest in dwarven law, but they're really easy to get around if you're friends with the person you're conquering.
Good to know.
But easiest way. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll go get you a poultice. And he hands you just a regular healing potion.
Okay. I guess that's one way to end your temp job. Well, I guess I didn't really end my temp job.
I can fire you if you want. Do you not want to be deputy mayor? I didn't want to take something that was like a point of pride away from you, but I also, like, for legal purposes, I cannot at this time explain, had to conquer you.
That was the
Like,
easiest conquering in all of the history of Corvair.
The chillest conquest so far.
It's like, well, I'm glad to see that the veggie shakes I've been giving you each morning are like helping you.
Yes, I really do appreciate them. If I'm being fully honest, I probably could have explained a little more before I punched you, but I just felt like it was easier to get it done with and then explain. You know, no one wants to agree, yeah, you can punch me. But if they agree to forgive you for it, that's a lot easier.
Must be like
And I think you do. I think you do start to see where some of Cocola's like twisty mind came in. Like, her mom didn't teach her to think in circles. Her mom taught her to follow orders. Dad's pretty good at thinking. Dad's so good at thinking in circles that he like broke through a Gaius.
True.
And wrangled 6 children for an extensive childhood. When your kids are toddlers until they're 8. it's rough.
Yeah. Definitely is. I know that. Boy.
Now you know why Cocola's the big spoon.
Stop.
All right. But about this time, Zenlin, Rez, and Yurtosh, you're approaching the front door.
Ah, just the men I would love to see.
Yes, hello. This is our new ally, Urtosh.
He
We
steps
have-
in. It's Yurtosh. You got to really get the y in there.
Yes, Yurtosh. We had some things we want to discuss, including meeting with the deputy mayor, involving private matters, and then we'll look around.
Well, if you need to, you see, grandfather speaks up. Did you want to meet with the deputy mayor, or did you want to meet with? Coca-Cola, what should my title be?
I think clan leader is pretty great.
Yes, but clan leader, that applies to the clan. I'm ruling over a lot of people who aren't even dwarves now.
I don't know. What's a fancy word? What was the guy that held on to Aragorn's city, Minas Tirith? What was that guy's title?
Steward.
Steward. Yeah, you are the steward of Revan.
Yes. If you'd like to speak to the steward of Revan, I'm available.
What is the reaction of the other dwarves in the house during this whole punch in the face, conquering steward of Revan?
I think you see that there is a mixed reaction to the punch in the face. Like some of them actually like.
Are you good?
I'm good. I just gotta slowly pull this back up because I forgot it was within elbow strike distance of myself and knocked it over. I was trying to talk with my arms and I elbowed my background straight over. Okay. One hell of a session, gang.
Yeah, right.
But no, there was a mixed reaction. You saw a couple of people, like when Grandpa started swinging, put their hands on their weapons. Nobody drew, but they were like, "Oh shit, are things about to pop off?" Did Coca-Cola just pull him in there to tell him Jillian's a traitor? But once your grandfather started like not angrily yelling about like I'm conquering this city, they were like, "Oh, this is clan shit," and most of them went back to cleaning. The eldest one, the foreman, does come over and stand kind of at Jillian's side after the fight is done.
Well, how about we all sit down and have some dinner in the true steward fashion? There's even some of those little grape tomatoes that'll burst on your chin if you want to eat them too.
Yes, let's have a meal. Yurtosh, you knew ally. You wouldn't happen to be from that, how did you put it, Coca-Cola? Resistance cell to the north?
Yeah, from the resistance.
And you see Yurtosh actually looks at you, Zen and Rez, is like, you didn't tell me about this guy.
I didn't tell him anything.
All right.
Let's
he
just
sits
say-
down at the table. All right. Well, sounds like you already know who I am, to a point. Yeah, Yurtosh, with the resistance up in the north. I thought I was just coming down here to negotiate with the deputy mayor for, sue for continued peace, but Yeah, I'll talk to a steward. Hey, you got a little bit of there's some blood on your gauntlet there. You want? Here, have this. And he passes a handkerchief over to your grandfather to clean the blood off of his gauntlet from where he punched Jill wearing armor.
I think Coca-Cola goes down into the larder or out to the larder during this while everybody's getting seated and finds some raw meat and gets either cuts like a slab of meat off of some hanging meat or brings like a steak back for Jillian to put over her eye.
Jill was passed a healing potion as well. But yeah, that's not a bad idea.
It's sort of my sorry I got you punched in the face present.
Yeah, Jill, Coca-Cola comes back in with just a raw bloody steak and hands it to you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Jill's
how much-
gonna down that healing
I just
potion
looked-
and put that steak
I
on her
just
face.
I just looked at our back chat and saw sometimes you just gotta conquer your friends.
Sometimes you just gotta conquer.
Noted. That's going in my little book of life advice for myself.
How much have you already told him, Coca-Cola? How much catching up do I have to do?
Well, I filled him in on the situation with my dad. I filled him in on the situation with the Undercity. And I mentioned that there might be some folks in the north that have similarly aligned interests.
Sure. So,
And I conquered Revan.
Yes. And grandfather conquered Revan.
all right. So, yes, Yurtash and his friends have a vested interest in helping the Undercity as much as we do. So we have formed an alliance, hopefully to better relations, since, as far as I'm aware, Revan was not significantly aware of the presence in the north. But
Where-
I figure
I hadn't heard about it.
Where are they located in the north?
Reznor did tell you, Coca-Cola, that it's at the fort that you guys had considered buying. I assumed that you passed that information on.
Yeah, I think Hooli forgot that I knew that information.
that being said, the deal that was made involved some things involving Revan that I cannot myself guarantee, but that I believed the deputy mayor would have no problem with. That primarily being that they have taken up residence in the abandoned fort north of town. My stance, and what I think should happen, although these specifics were not discussed, I'll look at Yurtash, was that if this goes well, and this group and Revan can work together peacefully, it seems like things are happening, and having extra friends is always better. So I figured if Revan gave them the deed to the fort that is a half day outside of the city anyways, you guys could mutually benefit each other.
I do like the sound of mutual benefit.
They are relatively trained, and while there are city guards around, I think the Wyvern attacks the other night and in general show that Revan doesn't have much of a standing militia that I've seen.
City guards will be out pretty quickly. There's a login. So.
But if that is agreeable to, I guess, the steward and Yurtash and his party, then I believe we can get to the real planning.
Sounds agreeable to me. You know what? Yeah, we need a guard system. North's a good base. Would give us some warning if wyverns came down the mountain.
Can Zenlin peek an eye at Yurtash when he mentions the wyvern coming down the mountain?
Give me another insight check.
There we go.
You're looking to
That's
beat a
what I
30-20.
expected. Nope. That's a 4. Your Tash is stone.
Yeah, your Tash is stone. You got, I'm going to tell you right now, the reason you got a read on your Tash in that room is because you rolled an at 1.
Mhm.
He is a big, beefy boy who happens to have expertise in deception. And that's it. That's his only expertise.
Good. Since we're agreeable, I do believe there is one area of concern I have.
I don't know if I don't know if I agree to just hand the deed over. Your Tash. You people have a resistance movement? Yeah. Could use a little legitimacy. It wouldn't hurt. How would you like to be a founding member of the Revan Guard? And your grandfather and your Tash go back and forth for a little bit, hashing out details that involve your Tash and his people acting as basically the town guards under the new regime in exchange for the fort being signed over to the town guard.
One final thing that may be good to know. Who exactly are we agreeing to work with, Yurtash? And don't tell me that it's a group of resistance people scattered about the continent.
I mean, it's a bunch of different little groups of resistances scattered across the continent.
And who's funding them? Who's backing you?
Well, a lot of the groups are self-funded. Our expedition force, well, we get our funding from a couple of places. We get a bit from, well, as I know now, your mother.
And the others? You can't expect us to agree to make you gods without knowing what ties you already have.
All right, well, go ahead and give me a persuasion check or an intimidation, whichever you feel is more appropriate in this moment. And I'll say advantage. I'll say advantage because of the social pressure of this as well.
Sure, we're gonna go persuasion. I'm not particularly intimidating him or anything. I just want info. Okay, we're off to a good start. Haha, thank you for advantage. 27.
27. All right, well, yeah, I'm Drillite. I'm working with some people back home. The daughters of Sorakel. You can go ahead and make me history or arcana checks on that name if you would like to. Anybody here?
Nah.
Make a history check.
No advantages or anything.
I have a 15.
I got a 13.
15, 13, 10, 9. You've heard Coca-Cola, you've heard whispers. Like you've heard a couple of rumors, really, more than anything, about the daughters of Sorakel growing up in Sharn. They're not a huge deal for you in your day-to-day life, but it is the name for the government that heads up the monster nation of Droam.
And that brings us to the final point that I think you'll agree is quite important. Have they agreed to the terms of this?
Yes.
They've agreed not to target Revan or strike you.
Yes. Well, I told you I had to go talk to the boss, and the boss said yes.
I just, like I said, want to be upfront and clear. I don't want to make a deal with someone that I don't know.
Hey, and let's be honest. End of the day, I'm not for the daughters have been helpful, but I'm not ideologically aligned, so to speak. They had funding and their values for what we did lined up with our values for what we did. So we took the funding.
Yeah, it seems to be mutually beneficial, which is what we're going for here.
Yeah. Yeah. They agreed to, the terms back when we had the meeting at the fort. So I don't see why they agreed to different terms just because there's, a different mayor in charge of Revan. I doubt they knew who the old mayor was. I didn't.
Probably not, but speaking of new mayors of Revan, Zen, my grandfather humbly requests/requires your magical assistance as House Irongut is about to be in open rebellion, not only against Zalargo as a whole, but House Kundarak.
Technically, it's not rebellion. I've declared independence from Zalargo and conquered Revan in the name of the Mra Holds.
Are you planning to assault House Kundarak within the week?
I don't know yet. I need to go to the holds, which is why I needed your assistance. I feel like I could organize at least an expeditionary force in a week. Say, I could probably pull about 50 to 150 men together.
So, to catch you all up on what Yurtash, I, Resno, and the others at the fort discussed, the current plan is that they're going to rally their troops that they can and communicate with their people on the inside of the Undercity. I am going to teleport their forces into the Undercity. In theory, we are going with them. However, if you and I can get these men and get back here before that assault takes place, it may behoove us to make a two-pronged attack.
I was thinking along those lines. I was thinking I'd have you. I was thinking I'd have you drop me off in the Mra Holds and then just get back here, and then I would bring whatever force I could with me via airship. We come from the skies, you come from the earth.
That is fair. I was thinking, and I know we had already sort of discussed this, Kakola, that if we had an extra 150 men, I don't know if this changes things, but if I went with you and we could get those men in a day or two and get back.
Oh, no way. I sincerely doubt we'd be capable, but I'd be happy to try.
That's fair. I guess in my mind, if we opened a portal to get Yurtash's troops into the Undercity, and then we, along with your 150 Morholdian men, went straight into the Kundarak house at the same time.
How do you plan to get straight into the Kundarak house?
I have the teleportation circle coordinates that Zenla needs to transport us directly into the house.
If they've just had an assault on the house, they'll have that locked down.
What assault on the house?
All I told them about
on the houses, like the great houses.
Oh, that's fair. That is a fair point.
We could try.
But
I mean, if it doesn't die.
But if you don't think you can get your men ready to teleport back here within 2 days, then I think we may not be able to sync up the times of the attacks.
I think by airship, I think I can have men gathered in 4 days. Airship travel will take us about 3 to Sean.
That'll be cutting it pretty close.
Yes, it will.
The council could have made their decision and started the purge by then.
I agree. Do we have any better choices? If we had 2 of you.
Well, that's... Wait, time out. When we were talking, did you say I know my nanny can cast teleportation circle?
Cannot.
Oh, okay.
No, but your teacher can.
My teacher is down in the Underdark somewhere.
Yeah,
No,
but
Oh,
your teacher in
that's
Revan.
true.
Your current teacher.
That's true. I may have a way to get us a second. I have another meeting later tonight after Yurtash and I are done. I may be able to get us a second person that could go with you.
All right.
There's a lot of moving parts and pieces to this that we need to make sure the wheels and cogs are greased before we start rolling the machine, honestly. And I'll kind of look between grandfather and Zen like, you're on the right track, but we have to make sure like we do this and we do it right, because we will be actively moving against an established member of House Kundarak.
Oh no, we're going to be moving against the house, Coca-Cola.
Well,
your
that
evidence. No, I aim to have House Kundarak heavily sanctioned.
I mean, it could work.
They have broken their agreements.
Wait a minute. Yurtash.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Our plan isn't to actually push the houses back, correct?
No, we're gonna hold the Undercity for. We need to hold the Undercity for 24 hours so we can rip it out and put it somewhere else.
What if we held it for 23 hours and 55 minutes?
Then I don't know.
I don't think you're understanding my point. What if, as your preparations are complete, your forces suddenly retreat and let the blade marks into the Undercity?
And then we bring them with us?
And then the houses don't have an army left to stand up against the Moorholds or our assault on freeing your father.
Yeah, you could put communication. Wait a minute. They're going to move the whole Undercity?
Oh, yeah. We're taking the Undercity and we're putting it somewhere safe.
I'm going to give Zen a look like somewhere safe. Elaborate.
Their plan is to cut the Undercity off from Sean. I don't have a better option, and I don't think you agree that with 1,000 men from them and 150 Mirar holds, that we can fight 1,000 blade marks in the city.
Oh, we absolutely do.
I'm concerned that if we take 1,000 blade marks with us, we still have to fight them in the Undercity once we get where we're going.
How long do you think they're going to fight when they realize they can't get paid?
How long do you think it'll take them to form their own blade mark enclave? Oh, yes. This works
I don't know.
Well. This works quite well.
It's almost like there should be a very powerful person in the area that the city is being teleported to that can convince them that I'm saying is better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Them forming an enclave gives us legitimacy. If the Undercity becomes separate, then and it has its own blade marks guild that's not attached to Sean, well, people are going to get used to a certain way of living. And then once people get used to something, they don't like it to change unless it has to. We've reached the point where it has to. You see, you're just like getting really excited about all of this.
Yurtash, have you ever been to Kyber?
Yeah.
So you're aware of, the entire environment, the things that happen down there. You really think people are just going to get used to that?
No, but they may get used to the influence, the money, the hey, if you don't attack, you have a life you can live out.
That's fair.
Change of scenery happens to be different, but
yeah, I mean, if we're taking,
the Undercity as it is has dozens of little openings to Kyber.
So
You know,
if
at
we
least-
if we plan the attack, we'll have to do more planning over the next few days. I assume that we will end up going out to the fort to discuss this in detail. But
I mean, honestly, I want to say this as nicely as I can, because I really do appreciate everything you're doing for us and all of the help that you provided. You're not a general. You're not a commander of men. Like, maybe planning the attack, maybe we do the broad strokes planning together, and then you let me and my people do the nitty gritty, because that's what we sort of know.
Yurtash, you know who I am. Do you truly believe that I haven't been trained in military tactics since I was born?
Tell him, Zenlin. You tell his ass.
Would the Shadow Queen leave her son that undefended?
I think training in something's a lot different than doing it. That's all I'm saying.
No better way to be tested than to get out there and do it. And I'll pat Zen on the back.
So let's hear your specifics here. Come on now.
All right, yeah. Squads of 10 men, 3 casters, 7 frontliners. Every man has 2 weapons that can be used up close, 1 that can be used at range, and if they can use a sling worth a damn, they've got that too, whether they're a mage or not. The goal is to hold the line at each of the lifts that drop down into the Undercity, while using the little nooks and crannies that our people have scouted out to basically make sure that we're killing people as they check their corners.
All right. So what I was going to say is we should plan this attack for, at this point, about 5 days from now.
Oh, I see. Okay, my bad. So you're still on the broad strokes. You're still on the broad strokes. Gotcha.
Sure. Because the timing for this plan to work out needs to be perfect. If your men let the blade marks through too late, or they don't come in, we are screwed on our side mission. Meanwhile, if they come in too early, your men cannot hold that many.
Yeah. All right, so, well, we'll need to start, if we want to get 1,000 troops moved in by 5 days from now, we need to start moving tomorrow.
I mean, that's possible. And I don't think we will have a problem as long as both groups that are going somewhere have the necessary components to get the spells going, since we are sending to 2 different places. As well as, obviously, while we may have seen our share of battle, and I'll look at my party, there may be a few other things we can do to prepare for war.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, you've got your meeting tonight. And you see him like pause for a second and think and stop to think. And anyone here can give me an insight if they'd like. I'm going to say Jill and Coca-Cola, you'll make this at disadvantage though.
18 for Zen.
18 for Reznor.
Nice.
Even at disadvantage, I've got a 15.
16 with disadvantage.
Nice.
All right. So Coca-Cola and Jill, what you pick up on is that he's trying to decide between something he wants to do and something he should do. And Zenlin, you know he's deciding whether or not he should head back to the fort now or try to have that drink with you.
Look, if I'm going out to move people tomorrow anyways, why would you go back out there alone?
So we can...
Seems like a lonely walk to make in the middle as it's getting dark out.
Yeah, you're right. Why don't we go get that drink?
Sure, I know just the place.
All right. And he's going to follow your lead. Where are you taking him?
To the bar, not the business.
Taking him to the tavern, not the meat hall.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You walk across. Well, you're walking for a good, probably about an hour or so, since you're walking back into town from Grandfather's and across town. And he's chatting with you. He doesn't bring up anything. He doesn't bring up anything related to the cause or work or anything. But he's just chatting to you about himself. He's like, yeah, so I got my start just working, odd jobs here and there. And then I found my way. I was actually working with the House Beneath, contracted blade mark, not born into the family or nothing, obviously, but yeah, had a mission go wrong, and most of us didn't make it out, and it was my fault. Like, I could have kept a better watch, but
What do you mean? Were you ambushed during your watch, or?
yeah, we were ambushed during my watch. Some sneaky little fucker got into the keep and slit the captain's throat, and then yeah.
Well, hey,
But,
his misfortune
I was
is your promotion, right?
His misfortune was my firing.
I mean, sure, but now you're a general, right?
Oh yeah, now I am. But realizing that it was a mistake. Obviously, I missed someone when I was on watch, but any of our boys would have missed that little fucker. And you realize sometimes that you're not around because they think you deserve a job, just because you're good at it. And then when the first time you fuck up, no second chances and all that. See it, and then seeing, all the Deneath brats get 5th, 6th, 7th chances. I don't know. You start to notice things.
How many men died during those Deneath brats watches?
I mean, it depends on which one. We lost about 7 men on my 3rd mission, actually, because we had a brat who'd gotten promoted to sergeant too early. Thought it was a bright idea to charge a bunch of mounted barbarians on foot.
I mean, is that man still leading charges?
I mean, I don't know if he's still doing that, but he's still working as a blade mark.
I don't know.
He's in Sean, as far as I know.
Sounds like you got the better end of the deal, in my opinion. Do you really want to stay there if their sergeants are leading their men to their death?
I don't want their sergeants leading their men to their death. I want people being taught properly and treated the same. It's not about me being there or not. It's about the fact that I was treated different just because I wasn't one of their brats. Hell, I even saw non-Deneths who'd made it up to captain and all their mistakes were forgiven.
I don't know, man. All I know is those people from your squad didn't get a second chance.
No, they didn't, and I'll take that. That's my fault. But yeah, that's my fault. But I could have done better, and I didn't get a chance. Not with them, at least. And I don't know. It'll be nice to, I hope he's one of the ones raiding the city, so I can look him in the face and say, "Look at me now."
I'm sorry. Music just started playing in my head. I
I'm
mean,
so bad about remembering to do our background music.
if makes you feel. I mean, I don't think you were gonna play this as background music. Twitch wouldn't like it. I mean, I feel for you, Yurtash. I may not sympathize with you because unfortunately I was never given that opportunity, despite my birth.
We're all born who we are, and it's what we do with it, right? We can't be even if we don't get something. If we get something because of our birth, or despite it, or don't get it for that reason, you know, I guess reach out and take it, right?
Why
It's
did
not
you
gonna
want to
be
have
ha-
a drink with me, Yurtash?
Oh, I thought you were cute.
At the same time that you thought I was threatening your life? Poorly at that.
Well, that's why I said cute and not gorgeous. If it was done right.
I think Zenlin is legitimately blushing. I don't think Zenlin knows how to respond to that.
Yeah, Zenlin goes as darker purple on the cheeks. Yeah, you know, if you threatened
mean,
me right, you know, maybe I would have had you come in for the conversation with the boss.
I mean,
Room's
I
right there, you know.
told you I wasn't trying to threaten. I was trying to tell you I could help you get legitimacy, but I'm the one who doesn't understand social cues.
Hey, everyone's got different social cues, okay? We've all been socialized differently. Learned that one from Emmy. Also, what's her name? You can tell me. It'll really put a rock in her shoe.
I need to roll a D100 to see how much of an asshole Zen is. Well, I could tell you her name, but you want me to tell you something that'll really get a rise out of her. It's a name only those closest to her know.
Oh. Yes, of course.
God, this is a gamble. I might be fucked here. Next time you see her, make sure no one else is around. Call her Azira. She'll think you can read minds.
All right, Azira. Go ahead and give me a deception check here. I'm not remembering wrong. That's your mom's name, right?
Yup, and that's a
Fuck you. Oh, I'm ruined. I'm fucking ruined.
Yurtash about to get murdered.
Oh God.
To be fair, if I gave him her real name, she would probably also be super pissed and not happy about it either. So,
honestly, I think if you, no, never mind. We'll not spoil that.
On second thought,
All right. What was that again?
It's a 0, but on second thought, it's probably better not to get a rise out of her.
Yeah. Oh, but she's so much fun. She's so much fun to poke around at.
Have you heard the expression "Don't poke a sleeping wyvern"?
Yeah, and now I have a pet wyvern.
Yeah, she's not. She's a bit stronger than your wyvern.
You see him drift off, picturing the emissary fighting the wyvern for a second. It's like it's not neurotic drifting off, but it's just what a battle that would be. He's like, yeah, that sounds like a good fight.
But yeah, you should probably keep calling her Emmy.
Or for you, I'll keep calling her Emmy. It bugs her enough as it is.
I was gonna say I'm surprised she lets you get away with that, but don't do it for me. Do it for your own life.
Oh, I'm going to. It's a bit of both. I'm not going to use the name you gave me because you've requested that I don't, is more what I meant there.
I advised that you don't.
I'm going to take that advice as a request so that I listen to it. And there we got a peek into my actual brain of someone saying, hey, that's a bad idea. I'm going to take that as you asking me not to do it so that I listen. Because if you just say it's a bad idea, it sounds more fun.
Like I said, I feel like if he legitimately walked up and name dropped that while talking to her, I don't know if my nanny is the one who's going to be killing him, but someone is.
I think there'd be some questions. And
I don't
think
really want those
think-
answers given.
Yeah, I think your mother's put up with enough of your shit that now that she knows you're involved, she'd be like, make sure it's not just my son being a shithead.
Make sure he's actually being insubordinate.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't know the name, so it's a matter of where.
That's what I was gambling on.
It's a matter of where did he find this name, and how does he know it's connected to the emissary? It's like oh, is he?
I don't know
like
when
him?
they started talking to my mom.
Yeah.
Maybe they met
It's
her when
like-
she was just clan mother Azira.
Yeah. But yeah, no. And you make it up to the tavern, and we're gonna cut here as you guys walk in and move back to the rest of our group. Reznor, Coca-Cola, Jillian, what are y'all doing?
Let's let Rez go first. He's been pretty quiet whole day.
Yes, he has.
I was about to say, Reznor's actually probably just kind of chilling. He's taken a lot of damage since the last time he's gotten to rest, so he's
Yeah. What
kind of keeping an eye on. But
what does chilling, resting, and relaxing look like for Rez? Like, what's he doing? He hanging out here at Grandpa's? He heading back to the tower?
he's probably doing kind of what he used to, where he just kind of goes into the woods and he's gonna kind of lean against a tree and kind of prepare for what's coming. It's been a while since he's been in something this large.
Yeah. Reznor, you go out to the woods. I'm going to say as you make your way out of town into the woods, you actually pass by Fethric, who's coming back in with a bundle of logs, like slung over his shoulder. Oh, Reznor, you're back. Or wait, no, sorry, that's not my Fethric voice. Reznor, you're back.
Yeah. Have you seen? You don't have Beep again, do you? I haven't seen Beep.
Last I saw Beep, he was... What was he doing? He was something with the watermill.
Okay, as long as he's safe.
Yeah.
Take the
I was
robot
actually... I'm heading up that way. I wouldn't. Now that I know he's not, just a lost little boy. I was actually heading up that way if you want to walk up there with me, check on him.
I would like to.
All right. And he continues walking back into town. You follow along and you make it up to the watermill, where you see that Beep and the foreman are working side by side, with Beep going beep, 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 and the foreman yelling, all right, now the robot says that if we replace this and we put this gear on here, the mill will spin twice as fast because it'll reduce the friction. Beep, beep. Get to it. And then go ahead and give me just a stealth check. You can give yourself disadvantage or advantage, whichever direction you'd prefer. Depending on if you're trying to sneak up on Beep or have him notice you.
Nah, he's not sneaking up on Beep. That'd be 16.
16? Yeah. As you walk up, your foot crunches on you just crack a stick, and Beep turns 90 degrees, sees you, and starts trundling over very quickly on those little tank tread legs. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, I love Beep.
And you see he actually crouches his head down a little and sends a little jet of air out of his bottom to jump up into your arms.
Oh, yeah. Finally
Beep,
reunite.
Boop.
he's definitely gonna just like cradle Beep, and he's gonna like pat its head while he keeps just
you're-
kind of walking.
While you're cradling Beep and walking here, you see that Beep has a little, not big, probably about Post-it sized, a little emblem painted on him of a hammer. I almost said hammer and sickle. No, yeah, Beep's a communist now.
I was
Beep
gonna
has
say,
Beep has a hammer and sickle. Fuck it.
Beep wouldn't you could communist Russia.
No, I was sitting here. I was like building and grain, hammer and sickle, right? No,
Please
Beep
don't
has-
get
Beep
us
has a little-
canceled. Please don't get us canceled.
Beep has a hammer and a hoe painted on his body in bright green.
Beep's got hoes in different area codes. Let him live his life.
Beep's a player. Where do you think Reznor got his Riz?
That's why Reznor hasn't been passing charisma checks. Beep's been gone.
Beep's been gone.
Ooh.
Reznor can't Riznor unless Beep's there.
But yeah, you see, as you're cradling Beep, Featherick looks over at him. Beep, you've been doing a lot of construction work lately. Do you want me to get you a manipulable arm so you can like move things? Boo boo. And Beep sort of turns its head to look up at you.
Would you like that, Beep?
Ooh. You can give me an insight to
I'm
try to
gonna get an
interpret
insight.
Beep. Yeah, you get insight checks on Beep with advantage because Beep is your best friend.
Oh, that's a natural 20 for 22.
Jesus fuck. You speak Beep now.
Yeah. Beep.
Congratulations, you speak Beep.
Just add that to my language on my character sheet.
No, do add Beep to your language.
Yeah.
I just
Actually,
imagine
it's
him holding
Beep.
Beep.
It's
in
technically
Beep.
Beepnary code.
Beepnary code. Oh my god. I just imagine Reznor going like, "Ooh's a good boy. You're a good boy, little Beepster."
And meanwhile, it's like a 60-pound chunk of metal and wood in his arms.
I'm just in my head now picturing that the translation Reznor gets is 101100000101.
I would say that actually, Reznor, you realize that beeps do not translate directly. They are emotional language. Beep has feelings about things, but does not have words for them.
Oh, that makes sense. I can do that.
Mechanically, Beep has an intelligence of 4, which is just a little above the line for sentience. Beep is extremely wise, though. And very charismatic.
Oh, yeah. He's a charmer.
He's not actually. He only has a 10.
This is the Beepy and the Beast right here.
Beep and the Beast. God damn it.
Oh my god. We need it on a t-shirt. We need it on a t-shirt.
That's why Reznor isn't in design. It's Beep all along.
Sorry. Can you blame me? Can you blame Reznor?
Hey, that
All
exhaust
right.
is mighty fine when we're traveling long distances. You leave him alone, Zetland.
But now understanding the now that you understand beepnary code, the emotion you get from that last beep is joy mixed with apprehension.
Don't worry, Beep. I'll be with you the whole time he's working on you.
Trust,
Yeah.
or rather, faith.
Yeah, we're gonna. If you wouldn't mind, Bethrick, we'll take the arm.
Yeah,
I'll be there with you.
you know where the shed is. Let's just head off that way. And you guys go off to install a new arm on Beep.
Yay!
All right. Jill, what are you up to? I caught you at just the wrong time. My bad. We can go to Coca-Cola first if you want.
All right, Jill is she's been listening to what's going on, and she's thinking that she's got to get prepared for. She's got to set up a clinic like super fast for the wounded. Make sure that people are taken care of.
Yeah.
Make sure that Coca-Cola and Zenlin and Reznor have some kits that they're taking with them so that they can hopefully, patch themselves up.
Hell yeah. I'm going to say if you're going to go around and like gather medical supplies for what you would need for like a war clinic tent, essentially, go ahead and just give me a medicine check. And I'll actually first give me a persuasion check. This is on townspeople, so it's with advantage.
Okay.
You're just looking to hit a DC 10.
Oh,
All right, so this
not
so this
good.
roll, yeah, this roll for supply gathering, since that was a 7, will be made flat instead of with advantage. So just give me a medicine check.
Okay.
And tell me, where are you going to gather supplies? Are you like going out into the woods to gather what you know are medicinal herbs that might grow along the river? Are you like getting them from people in town?
She definitely knows some herbs. She could gather them. She could maybe talk to the druid that's any druids that she knows that are around to help her find, like zero in on the best spot to get the herbs that she needs.
Yeah. So that's kind of what the persuasion check was for, was to see if you found someone who had the time and was willing to help you with whatever task you put your mind to. Since we didn't pass that, this is just going to be sort of a Jillian solo expedition at the first. So she's going to go out herb gathering.
Herb gathering. My medicine check, I got a 25.
25. You are making your way down the stream because you know a lot of healing herbs and stuff will grow along the banks of the stream where the soil is fertile and constantly watered and things like that. On a 25, that's really good. Jillian, you spend a couple of hours like walking the banks of the river and gathering herbs. You think you've got enough here to probably throw together probably about 10, maybe even 15 healing poultices. Basically enough to give someone 1 hit point back, stop them from dying, or stabilize them. And then I'm going to need you to go ahead and give me a perception check.
Got an 8.
8. You hear some trees crack in the woods across the stream, like close to the stream, but across it from you. But when you look up, you don't see anything there. Do you return to your gathering?
She's going to head back. Start to head back.
Cool. All right. All right. As you head back, go ahead and give me another perception check.
Okay.
You're looking to hit a 15 here.
24.
Jesus fuck. You hear, as you walk back upriver, you hear some more branches cracking across river, sort of like behind you and across river, but the sound is keeping up with you. It's not getting further away. And when you turn back to look again, you catch a glimpse of 2 deer. A older looking female and you'd say adolescent male that seem to be watching you. And as you turn to look at them, they lock eyes with you and they both freeze.
Squeak, squeak it or squeak, squeak it doesn't work here.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Can she even speak to animals?
I do not believe
No.
Jillian can.
No. She she'll just try to not scare them and just like walk past them.
Right. They are behind you, so they're not in your path.
Oh, they are behind me? Okay. She'll just like not gonna hurt you and just keep walking.
Yeah. As you turn to walk, you hear them begin walking again, as you do. And you can hear that the footsteps don't sound like they're together anymore. It sounds like the adolescent, like the lighter of the two, has moved up a little further than the older.
She doesn't she doesn't understand why that's happening. But she's, let's see, would she?
There's some birds. That's all.
Okay. I'm trying to think what how she could. She'll just keep walking back. She doesn't.
Alright.
She doesn't know much about nature or anything other than plants. It's like,
All right. Yeah. And you make it back to the edge of the, like, where the river begins to hit town proper, there by Fetherick's cabin. They are still following behind you, but you're basically in town now.
okay.
And they do not seem. You see, they stop at the edge of the tree line around Fetherick's cabin, still watching you. Go ahead and give me one more. I'm going to say give me a luck check here. Just a flat D20 roll.
Okay.
You want high.
And roll it. 12.
12. You hear the sound of wings beating twice, and then the sound of air. You know how air sounds when like a bird glides down? Like that. You hear the sound of a hawk diving at you as it lands on your shoulder and turns to you, opens its mouth. Ms. Roca, are these deer bothering you?
Not really. I don't understand why they're following me.
Yeah, I don't
I
really
think they're
understand why they're
following
following you. I don't really understand why they'd be following you either. Most deer run. Maybe I can spook them. And he takes off to go fly at the deer. And as he like swoops down, claws extended toward the adolescent, they both shift. And you see two little gnomes. One who appears to be probably in her mid-40s, and one who looks like he's like maybe 16 or 17. Hey, we just... all right, hey. No, and you see the little kid's like, or not the kid, but the teenager has his hands up and is like backing away from the hawk, like, don't eat me, not a deer, not a deer.
You must have been big hunger.
As she looks at them, can she tell if they're like rock burrows? if
Uh,
they
yeah,
look like they're with
you
the
can-
clan?
I'll say give me perception or insight.
Let's see. Is that a 21?
21. On a 21, not only do you not think these are rock burrows, you think these are some of the local druids that you were told about.
Okay.
The ones who just sort of roam about doing their own thing until they're called upon for aid or they need something from the town and they stop in.
All right.
Just sort of,
She will.
you know, wildful.
Ask them if they need something. Is there something that she can help them with?
We just noticed that you were picking a lot of healing herbs, and well, you know, we were wondering if we hadn't seen you out picking herbs before. You know, we know most of the gatherers around here, and we were worried that perhaps, I don't know exactly what we were worried about, but we were worried. So we just wanted to keep an eye out. I'm Lot, and this is the teenager. And you see his mother smacks his hand. Andros, at your service. Oh, that's a interesting little. And you see she actually gets up close to you and is leaning in to look at your amulet. Interesting. I don't think I've seen the badge of office like this ever. Oh, there's a mountain in the background now. How curious. And you see Lot. Hey, Mum, you're in her space. Let's give the woman her space. I'm sorry, she's very one track. It's a pleasure to meet you. Like I said, I'm Locke. This is my mother, Andress.
I'll ask them if they collect herbs. You know, if they collect herbs and if they'd be willing to trade for herbs. Should I need something for healing potions?
Oh, we collect
cures?
when we need. And we'd be happy to trade. Yeah. Yeah, there's a quick little service you could do for us, and we could gather you some herbs and some and maybe even make some poultices for you.
That would be great, because with the riots and things that have happened in Sharn, we might be having visitors, or perhaps visitors.
Oh, quite a few visitors lately. Quite a few. And speaking of visitors, there's an old burrow just west of town that we used to camp in when we were passing through. There's something there, and I don't know what it is, but it's not right. And so if you could help with that, we could get back at our stores there, and we could give you some of the herbs and stuff we have stored.
Tell me more about something that's bothering you.
Well, we'd passed out of that burrow for a bit because we were heading down south to do some gathering at the foot of the mountain. But when we came back up, I know a burrow is supposed to be dark, but it's not supposed to be that dark, and the dark's not supposed to eat the torchlight.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of got out of there, and that's really all I know. And you see Adras. Yes, some foul beast has eaten the light of our burrow, and it is strange to have There are different darknesses. There is a darkness of comfort in a burrow when it is late at night and you are curled in tight and everyone is asleep. But this is a heavy darkness. And I fear its origins most unnatural. It popped up about a week and a half about a week and a half ago, I think. Maybe 2 weeks was when we saw it. Has it been a 10-day or a fortnight? And you see Lot says, definitely a 10-day.
Okay. I will make sure it gets investigated.
Thank you, Ms. And you see Adras says, yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. You see Lot says, Madam Mayor, Mum, we're talking to the mayor and you didn't tell me. What do you think that amulet is? It's a badge of office. Haven't I told? I mean, I know we didn't meet with the new one very often, but like, come on. What did you think people just bought that sort of thing for themselves? But yeah, they give you the directions to the burrow from town. And we are going to cut back to Coca-Cola. What are you doing here at Grandfather's? Or as you leave Grandfather's, if you choose.
I think actually what she would do is roll out a map on the table of Revan and make a suggestion of where some guards should be stationed when we launch the assault on Sharn, and also gather things up for her grandfather so that they can prepare to leave, because it sounds like they're going to need to jump tomorrow. So he's going to need like the rubies and everything's packed up. And while he's busy delegating and doing boss shit, she'll be doing menial secretary things.
Yeah, you're prepping, packing, doing secretarial work as your grandfather cracks open the dustiest set of law books you've ever seen. There's like 10 books here. Each one's about 3 inches thick, nicely bound. And he's like, okay, this is God's. All right, I'm going to go through this and see if there's anything in here that could help our case, just to make sure we have the best levels of success possible. You want to help? Learn a little bit about traditional dwarven law?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a bad idea.
Cool.
When I head back, though, would you mind sending some of your banners with me to retrieve the bodies that we're going to need to take to the Moorholds?
Oh, yes, of course.
They're preserved, so they're not... Jillian has preserved them, so they shouldn't be in too bad of shape. But
wonderful. All right. And your grandfather is either going to give you the help action on an investigation check, or is going to ask you for one. Your choice.
You want an investigation? You want me to make an investigation, you mean?
It's up to you whether Grandpa makes this with help or you make this with help.
I don't mind either way.
Right.
I mean, she's taken the back seat because he's like actively stepped up into his place in politics, his role right now. So she's not wanting to. Ooh, I did not mean to roll that, but it's okay. 23.
All right, then we'll go ahead and have you roll with advantage. Go ahead and roll again. See if you get any higher.
No, not any higher. So 23.
23. You feel well prepared. You feel like your grandfather is well prepared to present his case. Like you feel like there are enough elements and enough evidence here that your grandfather will be able to push this through quickly, especially with the shock and awe of a, self-declared outsider clan finally choosing to join the Holds and bringing new territory with them.
I do want to make a case to him before I leave in private while the others are kind of packing up that though I don't mind taking the back seat for heirship to my father, I think once he's out of the grips of my mother's magic, he's going to need some time to recover if he ever comes back to his former self after a long time, like 30 plus years, probably even more than that, of, mental manipulations that
Mhm.
takes, some effects on people.
Oh, yes. No, the plan is absolutely, declare your father my heir so that I have reason to ask the holds to invade, get your father out, and then immediately disinherit your father again while keeping him a member of the family.
That's fine. I just want to.
Yeah.
That's
No, your bronze will be back to silver by next week. I swear this to you, Coca-Cola. And you do look
not
down
really
and you
about
see.
It's more about I wasn't, how you feel bad about your parenting. I wasn't able to save my dad either, and also cost him more harm when I was in Sharn than he needed to go through any more than he already had. So it's more like I just want to make sure once we get him out, he's taken care of.
Yeah, no, we'll take care of him. Don't worry. I wanted you to know that your father's reinstatement as heir is a formality, and I do not think he is more suited to the position than you.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think he'll probably do best out at the seaside with my aunt after all of this.
Yes, yes. That's not a bad idea. Well, no, that's quite a bad idea, actually. I've just declared war on Zalago.
Oh, that's fair.
And your aunt is on a Zalagan beach. We
So-
need to get a message to your aunt.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
And he actually
what do you
leans over to one of his bannermen. Go run to the post office and pay for a sending, not just a letter.
Yeah, she needs to come to Revan like immediately.
At least get out of Zalago.
Yeah. I would feel safer with her here. At least we can provide her some sort of safety.
No, I would love her to come here as well, but the last time I tried to force one of my children to be in Revan didn't work out well, clearly.
No, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, that's the safest option for her.
Yes, yes. Make sure you tell her that we want her home, but if she feels like she needs to be elsewhere, she can. But Zalago's probably not safe. Even though she hasn't done anything wrong,
she still bears the name.
It's not. It's not. It's not like I don't. I mean, I love my daughter. That makes her a political hostage.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, I guess it's we got a raid in. I'd missed it. Hey, Omni, thanks for the raid, friend. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. So sorry that we missed it.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to Twitch. I should also note to you that we're in the process of repairing the tower, and we have figured out that the old dwarven city of Wyvernstead is below. So maybe once this is all kind of the big part of this is over, we can work on getting that set up.
I'm sorry. No, roll it back. The what now?
Oh, Wyvernstead, which was here before Revan. You know what? I've dropped entirely too many chips on your plate today. We'll talk about this on another day.
Yes. Can this one wait until after the invasion?
Yes, that was pretty much what I was getting at. But I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety, and I kind of word vomit when I'm anxious. It's like a coping mechanism that I have. Yeah, it happens. It's a thing. It's just what it is.
You get it from your father.
Probably.
The number of times Did I ever tell you why the clan stepped down from politics as a whole?
No, but now would be a good time to learn.
It's quite a funny story. You see, it takes on a whole different tone when you're using it to your grandchildren. I was not romantically courting. I was politically courting an elven ambassador. And your father curious little lad that he was, asked so many questions with no filter whatsoever, because I had told him this was a very important man and that he needed to be careful. And I suppose it made him anxious. And, well, eventually he got to the point of, so why do your ears look like knives when mine look like shovels?
You know, we're gonna have to school my father in political correctness because if I'm not mistaken, he said some pretty interesting things to Zenlin at the house when he met Zen. So that was definitely I think my mom's really fucked him up, man. I mean, you know, we're gonna straighten it out, but
I'll say your father's always been an acquired taste as far as friends go. Very few people are friends with your father upon meeting him the first time, and most of the ones that have been were dwarves.
an
But he gets
alarming
better.
flag just raised in my head while we're speaking of family. What
Mhm.
about my brothers?
They have iron gut blood. They're
They
welcome
do.
to forswear the Kundarak family.
Oh, this could get extra messy. Because isn't my older brother a Kundarak guard?
Your eldest brother is a Kundarak guard,
Yeah. Ooh.
who you know is specifically placed at your house.
Yeah.
Like that
So
is his permanent station.
well, my brother is in Kundarak politics, and my mother, of course, fuck her. I would like to
Yeah.
simultaneously stab her in the neck with a knife at the same time as you, because I feel like we both have a lot of built up, pent up rage against her. So it'd be awesome. It would be
I mean,
the
I'd
coolest tandem
rather
kill.
I appreciate that, and I wish that was our best first choice. Taking your mother alive would be a boon.
Yeah, if we break her hands and sew her mouth shut first.
I've got a needle, and I've got a hammer.
You know what? You do have a hammer and a needle. That's a great idea. You know what? Yeah, well, so hopefully my brothers will come once they realize what's happening. They did witness the horror of my father bleeding from every orifice when he crossed the threshold. So I'm
Mhm.
not sure really what their opinion on it is, but it just kind of like popped into my head, like when we were talking about my aunt and the dwarven families. I have brothers, so
Yeah. So as far as your brothers go, just for a quick reminder, Rutber is the house guardsman.
mhm.
Spritmere is a artist who does about he's like a jack of all trades artist. Does every medium you can think of. Is not a master of any of them, but is pretty good at most of them.
Mhm.
Third brother Pepperin, who you know is a special operative of the Goradine. And then
Yeah,
the twins, who are just little baby boys. They're just little baby boys.
yeah,
They're like that.
we're all raised by our dad, so taking my dad out of the equation really is going to upset the balance of their lives even more than it's already about to be. So, well, dead or alive, I guess we're taking them. But all right.
All right. Well, yeah, I really. How about alive? We take them, or knocked out, we leave them. I really don't want to kill family here, Kokola.
I really don't either, but one of my brothers is Guradine and another one is a guardsman of House Kundarak. So there's a lot of moving parts and pieces in that household in itself.
Got it.
So
Political prisoners if they're present. Understood.
yes. Dead or alive, kind of just like a thing, just like the quote of it, right? I wouldn't really want to kill them. I mean, they're my brothers.
Yes, I absolutely understand the quote of it. let's maybe avoid that quote. I know we love our quotes in this family, but let's avoid that one when we're talking about family.
Well, it's a
Now
good
your
thing
your mother's not family, so dead or alive.
Well, the good thing is my best friend's a healer, and I've watched her bring people back from the dead before, so I'm not really concerned about that part. But if we
That's
don't
fair.
have,
Yeah. Let's try not to kill your brothers. Is that a deal we can agree on?
yes, I can agree to
Deal.
try not to. Deal.
Deal.
Shake on it.
All right. And we're going to actually fade out from there as we
Yeah.
end this session before with Jillian having just finished up her little conversation, finding out about this burrow that may have a stockpile of healing items. Reznor going to get a beep attached, going to get a beep attached to an arm. Yeah, going to get an arm attached to beep with Fetheric. Zenlin walking into the tavern with Youthrush. I forgot my own guy's name.
Yurtash.
Yurtash. I was sitting here, I could see it in my head, and I had just swapped the R and the T. And then Cola preparing to go and collect some bodies with her grandfather's bannermen.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask him if I'm going with him or if he's making me stay behind when he goes to the Moorholds.
He's not planning on coming back from the holds. So
Okay, so I'm probably not going. Okay.
yeah, I mean, you'd be welcome to teleport over there with him and Zen, but you'd probably just teleport back with Zen.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, cool. All right. Good stuff. I love political intrigue.
He did say he wanted Zen there for like an hour in case there was like no way forward, so that Zen could just like basically that first hour will let him know whether this is something possible or not at all.
I don't think it makes a difference, but I can say that my plan was to have Alethri go with him because I was not sending Alethri to the fort or war.
That's fair.
We'll play that out next session.
Yeah.
Right now, though, we've been Heroes and Hooligans. This has been Gilded Destinies, episode 31, The Calm Before the Storm. We will get to the storm next session just a little bit, but you should check us out not tomorrow, but next Friday for our Concentricity Echoes of Eden game. Check us out Monday nights where we are playing Delirium, a Grim Hollow game, season 2. I think we're coming up on episode 11 here. And as always, come back next Thursday night. We hope to see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.